Hey, thanks for joining us on another episode of Construction Tech Talk right here on Iron Pros. And this is another of what we call our We Talk to Smart People episodes. And there's a reason we call them that, and that's because we talk to smart people. Now, in this episode, we've got Joel Hutchines, who's the Vice President of Industrialized Construction at an outfit, Splash Modular, Slate Technologies. Joel, why don't you tell me what's going on with these two companies that are now one, your product set, and what it is that you do in life as we know it?
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having me on. So now Slate Technologies. We were formerly Splash Modular. Slate acquired us last year. Long story, right? So Splash Modular, we were in the business of building volumetric modular bathroom pods. So we were delivering bathroom pods pre-manufactured into site. But more than that, what we actually did was built the technology behind how we would automate the design and deliver those bathroom pods. So we actually licensed the assembly of that bathroom pod to somebody else, the manufacturing and assembly, and ran a supply chain from sophisticated computational design script. And there's a lot to probably unpack there. But the main purpose of why we built Splash Modular was to get data in the hands of designers as soon as possible and enable them to design for the bathroom pods. And because we did this, we were able to automate the full design process and deliver essentially a click play button on all the industrialized construction equipment so that our manufacturing partners could just click play and then the parts would come together and be assembled. What this really achieved was something that industrialized construction is lacking, is this customization, this mass customization ability. But also we were able to just inform designers or let them design within the realm of what's achievable, rather than this achieve the design, receive the design intent and then refactor it. We were able to actually influence their original design and benefit from it on the backside. Now, that was Splash Modular. We had patent technology there to be able to do that. And when we were acquired by Slate, Slate is building or has been building a decision assistant for all construction management teams. Now, what do we mean by that? It's about getting the right data in the right hands and the right people at the right time. So the industry is built on disaggregated data all over the shop, and we use a bunch of tools and a bunch of different technology to manage the projects. But when it comes to the actual decision making, we need to find the data. We need to play out scenarios. We've got this very hard task for the human to be able to actually take all of that data, find it, to be able to make the right decision. What Slate does is aggregates all that data and aids in the decision making. We actually use artificial intelligence and machine learning to give recommendations to the user, but also give valuable data to them at the right time. So sounds complex. It's a very hard thing, but Slate's been working hard behind the scenes to sort of bring this to life. And that really has a major benefit for industrialized construction and for design.
Yeah. So in terms of this decision support process, is this something that's really aimed at the project designer who's trying to figure out, how do we design this project to utilize the capabilities of offsite facilities with their standard industrial manufacturing approach to creating portions of this asset? Or is it something that really kind of extends into once the project is work in progress and you've got contractors putting it in place?
Yeah, so it's two different sort of stories there. Splash Modular's intent was that we could get the manufacturers and create computational design files and influence design. But where Slate has come into the market is much more around the GC and the construction management teams and how we can aid in the decision-making throughout the process of the project. So we understand that we might set a schedule from A to B, but as soon as we get on site, everything changes, right? And that is what Slate is really powerful, where Slate is really powerful in actually aggregating the data to help in the decision-making and playing out scenarios. So although we're down on the construction side right now and the project delivery, the intent at the end of the day is that we can have a decision assistant for architects as well, or for design as well. So we'll have all of this knowledge about what's happening downstream, but also what is achievable downstream, and we'll be able to influence design at that time. And that's where we've moved away from DFMA internally, and we're calling it design for constructability. What are all the decisions that need to be made at the design level, right, that aren't made right now? Are supplies available? Is that material? Is this a good time of year to be building with that methodology? And if you're going to take the industrialized construction approach, what are the impacts? What are the benefits of using industrialized construction? And at what stage of the process, if we're at design, or if we're down in the bidding process, if we're to use industrialized construction, what are the quantified benefits now? If we have to redesign for that, there's so much the data out there that would contribute to those decisions that now we're able to quantify and inform the decision making at whatever phase.
Yeah, yeah. So if you're looking at how, the pre-construction, the construction site itself, and even maybe how companies pursue work,
Mhm.
how all these things need to change in order to really get the most out
Yeah.
of industrialized construction. Are you looking at, using this technology to support more of a configure to order approach to projects so you can begin to reutilize standard assemblies and parts
Mhm.
and maybe even design components? Or, where's this
Yeah.
all really going?
Well, look, it's probably worth touching on some of the limitations industrialized construction's faced. Really, it's based around manufacturing methodologies and manufacturing machinery, which end up taking quite a large portion of time and effort and skilled sets to actually design for manufacturing. To take design intent, reconfigure it. Every machine essentially takes its own input, its own code to run. Now, the process that we rarely talk about is that we have to take design intent from an architectural detailing. We have to detail that into more complex CAD CAM, they call it, to produce the code to run the machines. Now, there's a myriad of tools out there. Each one of those requires the design intent to change, then a process of the remanufacturing or redesigning for the manufacturing. Now, we rarely talk about the fact that offsite can say, we talk about the quantified benefits of it can save us money, it can save us time, it can be better quality. But we rarely talk about the fact that we actually lose a lot of those efficiencies because of that process that I just described. Now, what this can do is quantify the actual benefits. It can actually have far more detailed insight into what are the benefits, even if it does require extra changes in the design, that the long shot is you're going to be better off or you're not going to be better off. And that's where they can give a lot more transparency to actually how you are delivering and what is the better solutions. Now,
Yeah, yeah. Now all of that's, I think, really good information for someone who's trying to get that, 1,000-foot view of what's going on here. When it comes to your product and what, problems you're solving, you know, what types of things can people look to you for right now? And, frankly, I mean, this is a discipline where you're working with oftentimes multiple solutions within a given contracting or construction business. And by the time you're in a project team where you've got an owner, maybe a separate designer, a separate contractor, maybe a combined design build entity, you've got vendors, you might have subcontractors, you're often needing to communicate with multiple other solutions. Where are you able to draw information from to create this new universe of industrialized
yeah,
construction?
so, prime example here is let's look at a client that's sitting, it's a window manufacturer of ours, and the window manufacturer is sitting in the room with an architect, an owner, and themselves. And they've got the original design intent from an architect. Then the GC wants to optimize based off of standardization, standard units, so that they've got repetitive for the install. The manufacturer wants to optimize based off of manufacturing based efficiencies. Now, using artificial intelligence, you're able to sit in there, take the original design intent, run it through a system like Slate has, and optimize the design based off of whichever criteria you pick or give a weighted percentage. So let's say we want to optimize on cost. Owner's saying yes, cost, but actually we don't want to deviate too much from the design intent. So let's give a weighting to the cost and a weighting to that. And then let's actually look at what's best for the manufacturing process as well and find a happy medium. Now, the system artificial intelligence is not only be able to quantify the benefits and make those decisions or help in making those decisions, it's able to actually do the design as well. So we're able to use generative design in there to optimize and create a design solution. So now you've got a scenario where you've got different entities, different stakeholders sitting around a room trying to make a decision in the past that how could you even make that decision? Now you've been aided with the actual data up front and the opportunity to leverage generative design to produce an outcome in seconds and play out scenarios and understand, well, what if we actually got rid of the transom on the windows? What would that do for the design intent? But what would that do for material efficiency? Could we actually do that with the glazing size? So there's so many factors and so much data that goes into every decision in construction that it's really about aggregating that data to aid in the decision making. And that's a prime example there where we've taken data, disaggregated data, played out a scenario with stakeholders and made a huge impact in the decision.
Yeah, so before I let you go and let you get back to doing some real work here, let's see if we can dive just a little bit deeper into where the data that you're able to work on comes from.
Yeah.
What kind of integrations do you have with other products that contractors might already be using, and how does that really help them create
Yeah.
this shared universe?
Yeah, look at Slate. We know that the data sits in a myriad of tools, and to be honest, every project is different. Every project manager is tasked with that, and they run their own tech stack. So we understand that the data lives disaggregated across the industry. So we're connecting to Protocol, we're connecting to BIM 360, where it's got Revit plugins. We've got the ability to ingest P6 schedules, Microsoft project schedules. We're even integrating with ERP solutions, SAP, and we're working on a few others. So we're continually looking at where we can drive those connecting and where we can acquire the data. We're really in the business of acquiring the data, using machine learning and artificial intelligence to enhance the data, and then again, as I say, delivering that to the right people at the right time to make impactful change. So we are spreading our tentacles out across the whole industry and soaking in that data. And what it does is it enables us as a product to do what we do, but also make life better of people using the other products. We're able to really actually help them make better decisions, not changing the way that they're actually doing their day-to-day and the tools that they're using, just enhancing it.
Yeah. Well, one thing we cover all the time here on Iron Pros is integration, construction interoperability. And what's going to happen is you and I are going to be joined at the hip covering which new solutions you're integrating with, what data it crosses over the blood-brain barrier each time, and how those things are working.
Mm-hmm.
But for now, if you'd like to learn more about technology for modern methods of construction like this, if you'd like to learn more about Slate, if you'd like to learn more about construction technology in general, right here at Iron Pros is the place to be. And in the meantime, we'll look forward to talking to Joel more in another episode very soon.
Thank you. Cheers.